the I hate Trump lane and you try to be the one who hates Trump the most, will you say and do anything to win that battle? Because I think, whoever wins that battle could be the nominee for president from the Democrat Party. That seems to be where most of them are, cooperating with Donald Trump. We had Mamdani kind of was the most mellow guy out there, the New York socialist mayor now. He went to meet with Donald Trump. That was a different lane than these other Democrats like the Pritzkers and the Newsoms are taking. And I think, I guess that's going to work. If you can be the one who hates Trump the most, you will probably be the nominee.
Where, though, does it become the point of that you're just a big complainer?
Well, because what's your plan?
There's no plan, and the only plan is to complain. I think that there comes a point where people get tired of you if all you're going to do is complain. Just like I'm kind of getting frustrated and tired right now with President Trump always trying to sell, and not acknowledging that people are struggling with affordability or feel like they're struggling with affordability. So, I think that it will come to a point where Gavin Newsom right now looks good in the polling. This will expire, this tactic. And if he doesn't shift, he'll fail. He'll flop. I don't feel like I'm out on a limb when I say that. People start to just tune you out. So it's working right now with your base, but it's not going to work with independents. And you have to have independents. You're just a complainer and a whiner. You're going to start sounding like a whiny baby.
Well, see, here's the thing to me, though. Is this a technique that you have to employ to get Democrats to vote for you in the primary, and then whoever wins that primary with this, horrific message about Donald Trump then has to kind of adjust the message after the primary to win more independents in the general election?
Maybe.
Because I think this is going to happen to a lot of Democrats that are moderates, that they're going to be primaried by radical people who think the more radical message will win, and maybe it will, because that seems to be what they want to hear. You seem to be implying that maybe that will run out of gas sometime. I don't know.
If all you're going to do is complain, people are going to get tired of you. People get tired of complainers. They'll put up with you for so long, but once they feel like you've got nothing else to offer but complaining, they will move on. It's annoying.
I just feel like the Democrats are going to be happy with anybody they think can beat Donald Trump, and they're not going to ask you what your plan is. They don't care what your plan is. Your plan is you've got to get rid of Trump. That's all we want. Do that, and we will vote for you. That's how I feel like they are. They don't ever have, what are you going to do? Well, we know what they're going to do. They did it. They handed off all these problems to Donald Trump, and they seem to have forgotten.
And it works in a state like California where it's 60-40. And he's never going to win the state of California, Donald Trump. So it works in a state like this. The question is, will it work on a huge scale as in the people of the United States? And I just don't think that it will. Right. I don't.
Well, I hope you're right. He had a short clip in this interview where he talked about California's failures.
Is this an omission?
I think it is.
A poster child of our failure as a state is the issue of poverty that's found on streets and sidewalks as it relates to encampments and homelessness.
Okay, so he makes this admission, but there's still no solution to this.
Yeah, I mean, he says
this is a guy that's been trying for how many years? 20? Are we at 20 years with Gavin Newsom?
Well, he was. Let's add
think
it up.
About this.
He was
mayor
on the board of supervisors for 7 years, I believe.
Okay.
He was mayor for what, 8?
Right.
Two terms.
It was really the mayor of San Francisco where he started tackling homelessness, correct?
Okay, let's count those 8.
Okay.
Then he was lieutenant governor for 8.
Okay, so
he's
16.
Now been governor for what, 6 or 7, I guess.
So we're almost at 8.
Yeah.
So we're at about
over
20 years.
Over 20.
Over 20 years, this guy's been tackling homelessness. And he says poverty and homelessness are California's biggest failures. This is the guy that has never been able to even put a dent in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten worse. Keeps getting worse. Last year, we had the $24 billion number for homelessness. Now, we have an article today that says that number's $37 billion now. And it keeps getting worse. He also was asked about the trans issue. Remember, he's had these comments. I want you and the audience, I want to warn you, not that you can't listen to this, but I want to warn you to listen.
Listen
And
closely.
see if you can tell us what he's saying, because I don't think I can.
And we didn't into trans sports. That's an issue no one wants to hear about because 80% of the people listening disagree with my position on this. But it comes from my heart, not just my head. It wasn't a political evolution. It was position being that I don't think it's fair. I want to see trans kids. I'm a trans godson. There's no governor that's signed more pro-trans legislation than I have, and no one's been a stronger advocate for the LGBTQ community. But you have to accommodate the reality of those whose rights are being taken away as we advance the rights of the trans community in terms of the fairness of athletic competition.
So he made a long comment there, but he will never say, by the way, I don't think they should play in women's sports, and I don't think they should be in women's gyms. He never goes that far. He says, it's just a matter of fairness.
I took some notes here, because he starts it off by saying 80% of people listening will disagree with this.
With what?
And this is, okay, so actually, the transgender athletes in women's sports is an 80-20 issue. But I don't think it's the 80-20 issue that he's talking about. Because he says 80% listening disagree with this. So he knows this is a liberal podcast. 80% progressives will disagree. It's not the 80% that say biological men competing as women in women's sports isn't fair. That's not the fairness he's talking about.
That's not what he said.
That's not what he's saying. And then he says, I don't think it's and he doesn't finish the word fair because then he goes on to a statement. But I think what he's saying is, I don't think it's fair. What is it that he doesn't think is fair?
He never really says.
And then he says, I don't like that rights are being taken away for the rights of the LGBTQ community. I think that what he's saying is that it's not fair for biological men to be competing in women's sports. But he doesn't say it.
I know, he never really comes out. It's easy to say.
And he's admitting that he's on a progressive New York Times podcast with Ezra Klein, and it's an 80% issue that people won't agree with him on that are listening to this podcast. And so he doesn't really answer the question, because I think that this is a
fresh oil change and the smog check. Now, just gotta wait for my tags. And this thing will be 10 years old. I wonder how bad the oil was. Almost a year from when I had the oil change last. At least they didn't try and upsell other services this time.